Congressman Sander Levin is a Democrat who met with the governor of Michigan and asked him to veto the bill. It's nice to have you with us. We appreciate it. So you spoke to him. What did the governor tell you in your conversation yesterday?
Well, he said he was going to just keep going. You know, there are thousands of people in Lansing today because they want a voice in the workplace. If a majority of people decide to be represented, that representative has to represent everybody, whether they belong to the union or not. People don't have to belong to a union or pay union dues, but they have to pay a fair share for the representation that has to be equally for them and everybody else. And essentially, so-called right to work will cripple the efforts of a union to represent people in the workplace. And that representation helped to create the middle class. And look at labor relations in Michigan today, how the big three came back through a cooperative relationship between the union and management. And essentially what so-called right to work will do is to destroy that kind of relationship, will create immense division. It's a terrible idea.
On the other side of the debate, as you well know, sir, the governor says that this is not about being anti-union. They say it's an opportunity. If the union's so great, then they have a chance to prove it. Let me play for you a little bit about what Governor Snyder said.
I don't view it as anti-union at all. Because it really gets to the other side of the equation from the union perspective. I hope the unions are really showing the value and why they have good opportunities, good reasons to belong to a union, and then people can make that choice to say, yes, I do want to belong, and if there's some reason they say I don't want to belong, well, hopefully it gives the union ideas and thoughts on how to improve themselves so they can provide better service and get them on board.
And if you look at the polling, too, when people are asked in the state, should Michigan be a right-to-work state, 47% favored it, 46% opposed. It seems like it's sort of straight down the middle.
No, because the governor, he doesn't understand labor management relations. He misdescribed what the issue is. Nobody has to join the union or pay union dues. If a majority vote to be represented, to have a voice in the workplace, that representative has to represent everybody. There can be no discrimination. All the benefits have to flow to everybody else. And they have to pay everybody a reasonable fee to help the union represent everybody. So essentially, it is anti-union.
You know, there's people who have a problem with that fee that you're talking about, right? In theory, that fee could go to something ultimately that an individual doesn't support, and this has been a main contention in this debate that's been going back and forth. Why do you think the numbers are so divided? When you look at the state of Michigan, as you point out, right, the home of the big three, it's a union state. Why is the numbers so down the middle when it comes to supporting right-to-work state in that particular state?
Because I think when the issue is explained, it isn't down the middle. People in Michigan understand that having a representative, a voice in the workplace, created the middle class, decent wages, decent working conditions, and essentially what the right to work, so-called right to work, says is everybody essentially can benefit from representation, but they don't have to pay their fair share. That will cripple the ability of people to be represented in the workplace. The governor misstates what this is. It's not union dues. It's not having to be a union member. It's if a majority selected representative, everybody has to benefit equally, so everybody should pay a fair share of that representation. They don't pay for political activities, none of that. So the governor, I met with him yesterday, and he misstated. He doesn't understand what made Michigan the ideal place, what made the middle class, and that was workers having a voice in the workplace. When I was a young lawyer, I talked to Wayne State University and said, how about having a contract with a few people? And they came back and they said to me, well, we can't have a contract because it's old English law. The king can do no wrong, they said to me. Well, we don't have kings anymore. And employers say, look, let's have a relationship with workers and have them have a voice in the workplace. That's good for everybody. And as the leaders of the big three, do they want unions to be able to be represented, people to be able to represent it, have a voice in the workplace? And they say that's better That's better for economic development in Michigan, and the governor will divide Michigan. That will be his legacy, and that is a frightful legacy, not only for him, but for the people of the state of Michigan and for the middle class.
As you know, most people think, in fact, and as you started off by saying, people think he's going to sign it, that this protest and 10,000 people, it's going to be to some degree for naught today, because he will go ahead with that legislation. We're out of time. Congressman Sander Levin joining us this morning. He's a Democrat from the state of Michigan. We appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for being with you.
Thank you. Still